Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. This is a gigantic, absolutely humongous, huge video I'm making. And the video title is obviously Have Paris Saint-Germain and City Destroy Football? Because there are so many narratives running around, and we're here to absolutely expose them. Where my interest for this video started was by these. These were two tweets that I tweeted. The first one is against all odds. Because I checked, the wage of PSG, Barca, Bayern, Madrid, and we have by far the lowest. And the narratives that are going around, trying to downplay and discredit Paris Saint-Germain's Champions League. And then another one where I was defending City. People keep slandering City for spending money when every club does it and City just does it better. Enzo costs more than these three. Rice costs more than these three. Anthony basically costs the same as all three. So I defended Paris Saint-Germain and City when it comes to money because those are the narratives that are being spun around by the media narratives. They're paid obviously by the Barcas and the Madrids and so on and favor them less than being paid by them. And in today's video, we'll be exposing all the gimmicks and narratives, and I'll be going through why all of this money stuff around Paris Saint-Germain and City does not make any sense at all. So here are the clubs we're going to be comparing at. Paris Saint-Germain. And we have, the other big clubs, Madrid, Barca, Bayern. They're usually the clubs that cry the most about Paris Saint-Germain. And then the clubs that cry most about City is United, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Those are the clubs that cry the most. So the first thing we will look at is revenue. People say Paris Saint-Germain and City spend a lot of money. Why do they do that? Because they generate a lot of money. Paris Saint-Germain in the 2023-2024 season had the second highest revenue in total football. Manchester City were second. So these are two of the richest clubs in the world by revenue, according to, what's the site name? It's a very reliable site when it comes to the revenues of the club. And Paris Saint-Germain and City are two of the richest clubs, which obviously means they will have the most money to spend. Second of all, obviously here we can see Paris Saint-Germain's graph since 2020. And we can see their revenue just going up ever since 2020. Same goes for Manchester City. This right here is how much money they have spent, the club's revenue in total across those 5 seasons. And as you can see, Madrid sitting in first with 3.9 billion, you got Barca, then you got City, you got Bayern, you got PSG. And as you can see, basically all the clubs' revenue across last 5 seasons is extremely similar between 3.2 to 3.9 billion, with Arsenal obviously being the one that's much less. One other thing which is absolutely crucial when it comes to Paris Saint-Germain and City spending is debt. These two clubs have very low debt compared to 2 other clubs. Paris Saint-Germain's debt, as you can see right here, is only 312. And City's is around something. And as you can see, here's their debt. PSG 312, City 200, United 800, Madrid and Barca 1.4 and 1.3. And that has been a huge reason for Barca and Madrid spending less. They're still heavily affected by COVID. La Liga still hasn't been able to recover to numbers before COVID. And they're heavily affected by that. United as well. Definitely the worst run club in world of football. 800 million. And you're this bad. Arsenal as well, hefty debt, 379 and 314 for Liverpool. Bayern München, debt-free club. So when you take a look at this, you can see that Paris Saint-Germain and City, when it comes to debt, they are in a very good position. And the less debt you have, the more money you can use. This is another reason these two clubs can use more money in the transfer market. And as we looked at those graphs before, they are, in 3 parts. It's match day, broadcasting, and commercial. And we'll take a look at all of them. Because a lot of people, there's some narratives that spin around that, because Paris Saint-Germain is sponsored by Qatar Airways, we get some crazy amount of money, and same with City with Etihad. Let's take a look at it. First of all, match day revenue. Paris Saint-Germain 170, City 88. And I found this list right here from another website. They're doing the top 10. And as you can see, Paris Saint-Germain earned the second most money. I think this is maybe 23-24 season with 7.3 million average gate yield per home match, while City is a bit down on 3.3, and that totally makes sense. PSG 170 and City 88. Next up, we'll take a look, obviously, at broadcasting. City make 343, PSG 245. And I have some interesting numbers right here. We'll be comparing 18-19 season to the current season. And as you can see, Paris Saint-Germain made 60 million from League and TV revenue in the 18-19 season. Jumping over to this season, they've made 122 million. As you can see, the other League and clubs have basically not risen at all, whereas Paris Saint-Germain are earning even more money than they used to make. So they have made, a large improvement from match day revenue in the league alone. Look at the Premier League. It hasn't changed that much. Barely 20 million difference. Bayern hasn't changed that much. Barca Madrid hasn't changed that much either. So that's something that has helped Paris Saint-Germain when it comes to match day revenue. Both clubs are obviously in the Champions League and, two of the best performing teams in the Champions League ever since 2015. And you earn a lot of money. For example, Paris Saint-Germain made 125 million pounds this year, and City won 131 million euros when they won the treble back in 2023. So match day revenue is a lot for both clubs. It's a good amount for City. It's great money for Paris Saint-Germain. And now looking at the overall TV revenue, we can see that Paris Saint-Germain and City are making a great amount of money, which makes total sense because, City is a lot of why they're like 100 more than PSG. It's a lot of it because of the Premier League. They obviously earn way more from the Premier League, which is not something surprising. All the teams in the Premier League earn a lot of money from the TV revenue. But Paris Saint-Germain also makes a lot of sense. Paris Saint-Germain have doubled their earning in the league and are consistent performance in the Champions League where you earn a lot of money as well. The last one we'll take a look at is commercial, and this is where I will come to that sponsor point. Paris Saint-Germain 391 and City 407. This is where they make the most money. It's not broadcasting, it's not match day, it's commercial. And this goes for all the big clubs in Europe. And I asked, what's like the commercial revenue? And these were the ones they showed us. So here, let's take a look at the sponsors. Paris Saint-Germain sponsored obviously by Nike with 80 million a year, and City by Puma 76 million a year. And when you compare it to other clubs, it's a completely fair price. You can see Liverpool 72, United 105, Madrid 117. It's actually lower than Madrid, Barca, and United, for example. When you look at the sponsor, Qatar Airways, Etihad for City. When people see this, they're like, oh, this is money laundering. PSG only gets 70 million a year. City only gets 76 million a year, which is, once again, basically the average number. City obviously have the highest here, but it's difference of like 64 million. So when we're taking a look at all of these numbers, all of the numbers make sense. Because there's always this gimmick that, yes, PSG City have a lot of revenue, but it's fake money or like oil money. They always say this oil money. Yeah, your owner is pumping oil money into the club. No, you're just crying. Second up, we'll take a look at revenue. Wages. So, as you can see right here, this is the wage bill for the 2024-2025 season. And as you can see, Paris Saint-Germain, 221 million, and City, 268, with both Bayern and Madrid ahead of them. And once again, the gimmick in the narrative is being exposed. People always talk about Paris Saint-Germain and City as being here. They pay so much money, they just throw money around. But they're just another average top big club when it comes to money spent. And here is them compared to other clubs. Here are actually the top 3 players from all the clubs. And as you can see, Paris Saint-Germain has by far the lowest wage. 47 million for Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, Ousmane Dembele, for some reason he's not shown, and Marquinhos. The same Arsenal pay for Odegaard, Havertz, and Jesus. Once again, Arsenal as well, not well-run club. United have like Casemiro, Mount, and Bruno Fernandes, I think, with 54 million. But when you look at the top 3 players at all these big clubs, there are no crazy sums. There are no crazy numbers. Now let's take a look at transfer. Transfer fees since 2015, 1.5 billion for PSG, 2 billion from City, 1.8 from Manchester United. A lot of high numbers. And this is sale fees since 2015. 1.1 billion from Real Madrid. And now we have the net spend ever since 2015. You got United with 1.3 billion, City with 1.3 billion, and 1 billion from Paris Saint-Germain, and a lot of lower fees for the other clubs. And, that's why I also like to pick United there, because one guy I always see him complain about City is Mark Goldbridge. Manchester United have the same net spend as Manchester City since 2015. But it's United fans that are constantly crying about City spending and 115 charges when you're basically doing the same. And that's my main issue, is the narratives that have been run in the media. The narratives are that City and Paris Saint-Germain are oil clubs and they abuse the laws and have so much money that no one else has. But when you clearly look at this, yes, they're not special. There are other clubs that also spend a lot of money. And this is the overall revenue as well in those years, alongside the debt as well, which all makes sense. City and PSG can spend more money because they have a great revenue as everyone else, but they don't have a huge debt. When you look at Barca and Madrid have made a profit of 100 million ever since 2015. But that's because they have a huge debt and they need to make money. PSG and City are not in that boat. They do not need to make that same amount of money that those clubs need to make. And this is since 2020. As you can see, 700 million spent for PSG since 1 billion from City, 600 from Barca. I thought Barca was 1 billion from United. Absolutely disgrace. And 650 million from Arsenal. Ever since 2020, when Paris Saint-Germain won the Champions League final, I don't remember what Arsenal were doing back then. But we've spent 700. Arsenal spent 650. Obviously, when it comes to sales, PSG 300, Arsenal 350. So the net spend is basically not that big at all between Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal, for example, since 2015. United as well, City as well. And this is the point I want to come to. Majority of people that constantly are crying at City and especially Paris Saint-Germain when it comes to money. These clubs are badly run. Madrid and Barca have huge debts, which makes them not being able to use the money they're generating in their revenue, which obviously goes against them. But people, instead of looking at the numbers, thinking logically, they just start crying, money this, oil club this. And this was a really great thing I found. Squad assembly. So how much the current squad costs? Not the market value. How much did they buy the current squad for? Madrid 600 to 52. A bit fugazi because of all the transfer bonuses. Mbappe 180. Trent got at least 40. Rudiger got a huge one. Alaba got a huge one as well. So Madrid, they're basically close to 900 million. City 1 billion. United 1 billion. United's current squad costed them 1 billion. Absolute disgrace. Arsenal 810. PSG 774. The squad that we have that won the UEFA Champions League. Because people always bring up that we spent 600 million, in the last two transfer windows. Yes, because we did a squad overhaul. We sold a lot of players and then we bought in a lot of new players. But again, it's just the narratives. It's disgusting. Liverpool 695, Bayern 563, and Barca 407. And when you look at that, Barca 407, are they some victim underdog gimmick? No. It's because their club is broke. It's because they've had a 1.8 billion debt. They're trying to bring down as much as possible, which means they can't spend that much. Obviously, the regulations in La Liga as well. Tebas has to get blamed for Barca and Madrid trying to come back from the COVID time because it's absolutely fucked them up. La Liga is definitely the worst run league in Europe's top 5 leagues. But it's really interesting looking at all of these numbers, wages, transfer fees, net spend. And City and PSG are not on a lone island. They're just basically spending extremely similar amounts to other big European clubs. But they're winning more. They're more successful. And that's exactly why the narrative and the hatred comes from. People hate the successful teams. And before we summarize the PSG City stuff, I want to quickly go through this. Nasser, obviously from Qatar, owns PSG. Sheikh Mansour, obviously from the United Emirates, owns City. And what is the biggest narrative against these two people? Sports washing. And this is the description of sports washing. It's basically Qatar will buy PSG, and that will indirectly improve the public image of Qatar, often to discredit from or legitimize unethical conduct or human rights abuses, which makes absolutely zero sense. You can go to every single Paris Saint-Germain supporter. Tell him, has Qatar buying PSG influenced your opinion on Qatar? So if you don't like Qatar does this against humans, but Qatar buys your club and then your opinion will change? No. This is a complete lie from the Eurocentric Zionism. And this is strictly only for the Arabs. This is strictly only for the Arabs. Even though America and the United Kingdom, who own a lot of clubs in the Premier League, for example, have committed so many human rights violations. But then you don't bring up sports washing. Then you don't bring up any of this. So what we can clearly see is all of these narratives built up against Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City is disgusting narratives by the haters of these two clubs because of their success and because their clubs are not successful anymore. I do agree that a lot of Barca fans blame their failed period on Paris Saint-Germain because like we bought Neymar, took Messi and took Dembélé. No, you got 222 million and then you made a bunch of stupid decisions. These are clubs that don't want to take accountability. And this is not just fans. You can go and find quotes from Laporta and Rummenigge at Bayern München and other presidents of clubs complaining about these two clubs when they haven't done anything wrong. It's absolutely disgusting. To basically explain Qatar and Emirat stuff, it's simple. They are extremely rich and they recently got this money, new money from the oil and everything. And they are investing in the European markets and the opportunities because it's not just football. UAE has invested in the UK, Germany, France. Same with Qatar. Both of these nations have invested so much money into Europe because they want to make money. It's a business. That's what Paris Saint-Germain and City is. It's a business. This entire sports washing narrative is the most disgusting narrative I've seen, especially as an Arab. It's absolutely disgusting what the Eurocentric narratives can create against these two. So now let's summarize this video. Paris Saint-Germain. Man City, the only thing with them is the 115 charges. And what I will say, I don't know enough about the 115 charges. All I know is, what do they say? There is no smoke without a gun or something. There is no smoke without a fire. So there definitely is something that City are been doing that could potentially be illegal. But after looking at everything, Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City are two of the richest clubs in the world because of how consistently good they have been. Manchester City have dominated their league domestically, in the league, the domestic cups, and in Europe. They have been the third best team in the past 10 seasons. 10 seasons, not 3, not 5, not 7, 10 seasons. And same goes for Paris Saint-Germain. Dominated their domestic league, dominated their domestic cups, and dominated the UEFA Champions League. Yes, it took a while for PSG and City to get there first, but they've constantly made huge progression in the Champions League, which, what does it do? It earns you a lot of money. So, to finish off this video, all of the narratives, all of the disgusting narratives against Paris Saint-Germain and City, all of this oil club, it's basically one thing. It's old money versus new money. Barca Madrid, old money. Paris Saint-Germain City, new money. We're going against, the Spanish federations, and they don't like it. Before PSG and Man City got bought, Madrid and Barca were stat padding and dominating. Obviously, Madrid have still been dominating, but it was easier for them. But they don't like PSG and City. Why? Because they're threats. The Premier League clubs don't like City because City is a threat. They've dominated Premier League like no team has ever done before. And a lot of Premier League fans want to downplay City's success by saying 115 charges and you cheated. No, City made a lot of great, smart decisions, accurate planning that led to this success. And same goes for Paris Saint-Germain. So no, Paris Saint-Germain and City aren't getting pumped in with oil money that makes it easier for them to cheat the game. City and Paris Saint-Germain have two extremely passionate owners. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business. And they want to make as much money as possible. And they want their clubs to be as great as possible. So they're investing a lot of money. So, yeah, hopefully, if you're not biased, if these narratives aren't stuck in the back of your head, you will leave this video after all the proof that I showed that these oil gimmicks, the oil narratives have to stop immediately. Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City are here to dominate football for the next 10 to 20 years. And there's nothing these teams can stop them from, apart from doing smart decisions themselves. If Barca continues to make smart decisions, they will reach the top and they can stop crying. If Madrid stop doing these dumb decisions they're doing, look at the squad that they have. Maybe they could be better. And Bayern, they can obviously invest more. They can use more money. They're debt-free. And they have what? The 5th highest revenue, 4th highest revenue in the world. But they don't want to spend. But then when City and PSG spend, they get mad. No, your club just doesn't care as much. The owners of your club don't care as much about the business. And I know in Germany they have the 50+1 rule and so on. Well, that's your own fault. Don't cry about it. And yeah, all of these, I really enjoy to look at them. I really enjoy to look at them because it's just disgusting, these narratives. I'm just tired of seeing the narratives all the time. And shout out to the truth. The truth will always prevail. And people can just cry about it. There's nothing more they can do. Paris Saint-Germain and City will continue to dominate football. These narratives will continue, getting thrown at them because people are jealous of their success. But they will continue to be successful, no matter what people think. And as I said, Hopefully, guys, leave this video and the narrative has lifted your head. That's been your from boy PSG. And as usual, allez, 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 Paris.